In this video, I'll take cover of all 101 Mebulies appearing in MMORPG game called Mebula. Mebula is a fantastical world where players can catch monsters called Mebulies, train them, and compete against each other. Experience a journey into foreign lands and fight against your friends, NPCs, or defeat the elite of the Mebula world in glorious battles. Explore this world and master many quests. Train your Mebulies and let them become great heroes. Play your game as you want it and get great rewards. Sproutly. Although Sproutly appears very small and vulnerable, but he is almost unrecognizable during fighting. He likes to stay in the green nature and to wander through forests. Saplian. To sit still is nothing for Saplian. He likes to take the initiative and thereby is often infuriating his opponents. Timberton. Over time, Timberton has learned to optimize its capabilities and does not let itself get worked up by his opponents. His large crown of leaves allows him to take a lot of sunlight and to use it in battle. Flambini. Flambini loves hot volcano-like areas. Even if he acts inconspicuous, one should not underestimate him. Blazzoni. Attack is his great strength. Blazzoni likes to braze his opponents in the flames. Charnado. Its high flexibility and speed allow Charnado to collect its flames and to fire them on his opponents with targeted fire steals. Many fires were already caused by him. Drizzlet. He fills up with energy from water. One may hardly believe it, but Drizzlet has a lot of will to win and gives everything for it while fighting. Sprinkulus. Sprinkulus has optimized its defense, making it hard for his opponents to break through. Nimbostrat. Over time, Nimbostrat has soaked up so much energy from the water that he has now grown into a mighty cloud. An umbrella is no longer enough for his opponents to protect themselves from his attacks. Champkin. Eating is his favorite pastime. He prefers sweet fruit. Many sweet fruits. They have made him something lazy, but also big and strong. Chompko. Who bothers Chompko at his nap should go on the run, because simply being awakened is what he does not like at all. He will let the troublemaker feel this. Sparakeet. Small but powerful. That's Sparakeet's motto. He is not yet a king of the air, but anyway, he is an opponent who should not be underestimated. Croc. Croc likes to range through the skies of our world and lies in wait for new opponents. Its fast and accurate attacks are difficult to be anticipated for its victims. Regal. Regal knows the sheer vastness of our world like no other. By hunting, he could refine his attack techniques, so it is very difficult for others to beat him. Pebsley. Now and again, a Pebsley is seen also on the surface. Normally, he seeks shelter in the caves. Boulderon. Boulderon definitely has a hard shell, and this is not as easy to crack by his opponents as it might seem. Kragan. When Kragan once moved, it can come to landslides and earthquakes around him, which have already caused many victims. Pyramini. Pyramini feels especially well in earthy areas. Only there, it can absorb the power from the ground that he needs to compete against other monsters. Piramoto. In areas where Piramoto was sighted, it already happened often that monsters were buried under sand or earth was divided. One should therefore be very careful in his presence. Moltoyeti. To its existence, there have been mysteries for a very long time, but there is this creature real. He lives quietly in volcano-rich areas, and it would be better not to meet him. Kitkin. The young Kitkin loves to frolic and to chase insects, or to get a few pats from his master. Only when it is angry, it becomes a wild beast. Trilotail. Having grown to a proud cat, Trilotail has more experience available in combats and also likes to use it. Its opponent may not be sluggish because it has no chance then. Bastetta. That cats have a seventh sense has already been known for a long time. Bastetta knows very well how to use it skillfully. She is able to tie her opponent with her eye and is therefore feared. Arbot. Arbot is a popular playmate. He is always friendly as long as one does not challenge him. Should, however, one dare to do so, he will be threatened by destruction. Machinoid. One should always go out of the way of a Machinoid because his enemies barely have a chance to get through his steel armor. Extreme caution is advised. Mechalodon. An rocket launcher upgrade makes Mechalodon very dangerous, even at a distance. Even opponents of the air will be left standing. It is the perfect attack machine. Explosito. Explosito floats around in hot areas and is more of a silent observer and masterful in defense. One should not get too close, as this may result in burning. Terrapini. Just recently, Terrapini has slipped from its egg. It is therefore still very inexperienced. However, it is a very good student and quickly learns what relates to survival in this world. Terrapino. From that hard learning how to be a little turtle, Terrapino is very tired. It should not be awakened. Because once it is awake, its enemies should look out. Shellox. All those years, Shellox grew to an impressive turtle. On its shell, many deposits of the sea have formed a thick, stone-like armor, which makes getting through extremely difficult for enemy attacks. Dandyshock. Once Dandyshock was a fragile, well-scented flower that was gladly sunbathing and enjoying nature. But then, a thunderstorm drew, and it was heftily hit by a lightning several times. Since then, it is a bitter monster lashing out lightning. Cactosmash. His original home is the Wild West. The cowboy among the monsters has struck down his enemies in countless duels and taught them to fear. He does his attacks quickly, leaving little time to dodge. Uzug. Uzug was able to escape from a secret research laboratory and since then is enjoying his freedom. He just loves to enjoy the day and be able to go where he wants. Its funny, jelly-like consistency allows him quickly to gel other forms and thus avoid the attacks of his opponents. Squabite. Squabite is a small, naughty bird. Alone, he though looks quite sweet, but in swarms, these birds can be a real plague. Minoraul. Tranquility is his strength. His attacks he plans very wisely, not only when hunting. One should beware of him. Petrizard. He is one of the last survivors of the early Jurassic period. Over the years, his skin has grown into a solid stone armor, letting him barely feel enemies' attacks. Pantheratron. Panthertron was originally built to be kept as a pet of the future. However, its inventors had made some mistakes in programming so that the functions were messed up, thus creating an aggressive killing machine. Frozy. Frozy came from heaven high to cover the world in a soft white. However, he started enjoying to compete with others and win. Chilzo. When some snowflakes met and noticed be stronger together, they have decided to fight together. True to the motto, together we are strong. Blister. Special climatic conditions have led to Blister not only to occur, but also to be very strong. He leaves everything around him solidified to ice. Surfoon. Surfoon sweeps everything that cannot save itself in time. It is very difficult to escape him. Water is one of the most dangerous elements of this world, and he lets his opponents know this very clearly. Lavanami. Fire is quite slow, but nevertheless the Lavanami is a very noticeable opponent. It burns everything that comes too close. Voltawhirl. Who is afraid of thunder and storms should find shelter quickly when a Voltawhirl comes. He storms with power and strength. Cyclone. Cyclone appears quickly. He often changes direction, which makes it hard for his opponents to catch him. But as fast as he appeared, that fast he is also gone. Pyrenees. Those searching for Pyrenees should look for it in the vast forests, as it likes to do extensive riding tours. But be cautious because it has already caused the one or the other forest fire. Sizz Steed. This proud horse has a lot of strength and a high endurance. It is always on the go and looking for his next adventure. Crustello. Under the sea, Crustello feels really comfortable because here the water is so clear and pure, so it is really fun for him to frolic with his friends and enemies. Cristongo. Cristongo, the king of crabs, is not a pleasant guy. Although he is gently and elegantly pacing through the seas, one should be careful. Anyone who was ever caught by his tongs will not be able to free himself. Griffotron. As guardian of the pyramids, Griffotron has an important task that demands a lot from him. Every day, many people come who want to steal some treasures from the old grave chambers, but he protects them to the utmost. With success. Larvalite. Green leaves and plants are his favorite food. This little glutton eats all day long to become big and strong one day. He is, as long as you do not provoke him, a pleasant guy. Chrysalor. Chrysalor has retired into its cocoon to perform his metamorphosis. Its protective layer is particularly strong to ward off enemies. Flitterly. Flitterly flutters through nature and is enjoying the nectar of several flowers. He is small and agile, and therefore hard to calculate as target for his opponents. Flammapine. Flammapine especially likes a hot lava environment. Here he can undisturbed play with fire and roam the area. Even if he looks more petite, he can defend very well. Turcano. Turcano is very old and experienced. She is more than 150 years old and has experienced a lot in the world. Although it is rather sluggish due to their size and weight, one should not underestimate Turcano. Molluscule. You will want to collect molluscule from the beach and take it home as a souvenir. But this little shell can do much more than just only gathering dust in a drawer. Gigantic lamb. Gigantic lamb shows others proudly her pearl. But if you get too close to it, it gets extremely angry and crushes their opponents. Fire doe. He likes to frolic through this area and to play all day long. He does not care whether his playmates are big, small, old, or young. This is his advantage in his fights. Cerburnus. Cerburnus roams the hot lava fields. Everyone who meets him bewares of him and hurries away. He is so strong that you have to have some experience to have a chance against him. Malarid. The duckling malarid and ripples likes to waddle and ripple in the waters of Mebu region. It likes to be fed with bread and being given attention. But still, his enemies should be careful. Platydrule. Caution. Platydrule crazed eyes not only look cute, it is also very dangerous and drives everyone around him out of his mind. Bitly. Freshly manufactured, it comes from the factory. He is still young and relatively inexperienced, though his current surges are quite painful. Megatech. A successful upgrade helped Megatech not to overheat so quickly and increased its efficiency. Caution should be exercised. Gigatech. After some tinkering, Gigatech became a full-blown mainboard. He has an overclocking protection and sufficient capacity to save tons of attacks. Fufu. Fufu was once a little fairy, but one night something terrible happened and Fufu mutated and became what it is now. But nobody knows if it remains like this or gets even worse. Frownfu. The progressive mutation makes Frownfu becoming a malicious creature. One should be very careful in his presence to himself and his friends. Fangalore. In Fangalore, nothing good is left. He does everything down what crosses his path. Blitzo. Blitzo was able to escape from a light summer thunderstorm, and since then walks abroad in our world. His favorite activity is to give small electric shocks to those who cross his ways. Splitzo. Splitzo is a nasty guy. He is so quick and agile that it is difficult to avoid his lightning. Goblets. There are many myths to Goblets. At first, none of the stories about him found an audience. But then he was seen by the first researchers, and they became curious. Ultimately, there were first video recordings, and its existence was proved. First results showed that meeting him does not go out well for his opponent. Hauntler. You do not believe in ghosts? Then you haven't met Hauntler yet. Perhaps he is waiting just around the next corner to scare someone. Fantast. You can find Fantast in a dismal night or in a dark forest. His opponents freeze in fear. Spectrus. Spectrus' forces are so strong that it is easy for him to let his opponents have dark visions. When they are shocked, they will be beaten. Icycloss. Snow, cold, and ice. These are good conditions to get Icycloss. The colder it is, the more comfortable he feels. But be careful. Do not get caught. Icicles. In the depths of the ice he was sighted. So the legend tells us. Also, it is said that no one met him without being injured. Does it really exist, or is it really just a legend? Scryer. Scryer was once consulted by the sages, but then Scryer averted and used his knowledge to expand his power. He uses the weaknesses of his opponents. Therefore, consider this. Tadleo. Freshly hatched, Tadleo feels particularly well in wetter areas. He is happy when he can play with his friends. Frogione. Frogione is a typical frog. He jumps around, eating flies, and strengthens himself in the sun to be ready to fight against his opponents. Toadleo. Toadleo was exposed in our world by strangers. At first everyone was interested, but then he began to spread, supplanting our native animals and devoured everything that came in front of his mouth. Webbo. When in the morning something glitters in the trees and bushes, it's probably Webo's cobweb. He always spins them there to catch and tease his opponents. Weberak. In case you encounter Weberak, take care. Her large fangs quickly expose a lot of poison and bring their opponents into severe distress. Magneti. Tinkered together by a tinkerer, Magneti should once help in the household, but he managed to escape, and since then, he is making trouble in our world. Magnetus. Magnetus is a self-developed improvement and can considerably more than its predecessor. Not only his attack, but also his defense have increased significantly. Revolt. Revolt is a little mouse which was once hit by lightning some time ago. Fortunately, it has survived, but its genes have been somewhat confused, and now it is able to throw around flashes. Rattergeist. Many are afraid of rats, but especially of Rattergeist. She not only has the typical skills of a rat, but also the additionally ability to collect electricity and use it for herself. Pinot. Pinot loves to swim in the polar sea or very lazy lying in the snow, letting the sun shine on his fur. But even if the little one looks so cute, do not underestimate him, Tuscanus. As a strong leader of his people, Tuscanus is respected. He lies there and watches over all, but do not bother him, because then he becomes furious and defends himself and his people in the extreme. Sirthon. Sirthon is a quite aggressive contemporary. When you come to him too close, he directly goes into combat stance. Even if he acts normal at first, a lot of surprises are in him. Biothon. Biothon decided to use the power of green nature for his skills. Skython. Skython decided to join the people of the flying. Phrython. Phrython joined the powers of fire and is able to use them since then. Scython. Scython has learned to hypnotize his opponents and bend them to his will. Aparathon. Aparathon was taught to show himself as a ghost. He is able to use their skills as well. Igneothon. The power is to be found in serenity. That's Igneothon's motto. He has chosen to rely on the forces of the stone. Liquithon. Liquithon has decided for the power of water. Jolthon. Jolthon chose the electricity. Thereby his abilities have grown enormously. Frothon. Frothon has appropriated himself the power of ice and uses it since successfully. Florix. Florix is a special kind of flower. It sprays not only the charming smell of a flower, but also mentally paralyzes his opponents by toxic pollens. Orbolix. For still unsolved reasons, Orbolix is electrically loaded, namely so strongly that flashes are forming between his single elements. Airfire. Airfire has the ability to rise up from his cinder and to return even stronger. Mystax. Mystax is a mystic monster that only few people have seen up to now. Its existence is still argumentative and not completely cleared. Mebu. Legends about a cloud serpent that is so powerful that it could cause hurricanes to break out on all continents at the same time. More is not known about this monster. Thank you for watching. If you want more of indie game monster showcases, then follow my channel right now.